got some more cars coming to the show here. Oh, that is beautiful. Look at that. Look at that light blue. That is so gorgeous. That's hot too, man. Both cars are beautiful.
I've got the hood up on that if you want to look at it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll
I've got the hood up.
oh, definitely. That'd be awesome. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Mr. Gini, and we are here at the Salem County Road Nights Car Cruise. I hope I got that right. But anyway, yeah, it's a Wednesday, and I'm surprised they actually have a car show on a Wednesday. It's kind of cool, actually. So it's kind of in the middle of the week. Not too many cars here, but of the cars they have some very beautiful ones. You got this really beautiful, I think it's a Mercury over there. I mean, how many Mercuries have I seen? It's kind of cool that every single car show I go to, it's a classic one. I find one I've never seen before, which is really cool. But yeah, this isn't really too big of a show. But again, I'm kind of glad in a way because I can kind of get some footage real quick. This is probably going to be like a shorter video when I post it. But it's good because then I can kind of go back home and get some stuff done as well. We got some more cars coming. I'm going to turn this around. Footage, this guy coming in here. Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. That's a gorgeous car. Hope he doesn't mind me getting footage. Love your ride, man. Beautiful. So anyway, turn this around again. But anyway, so we got some pretty nice cars over here that I'm going to kind of talk through. Let me move out of the way here so this guy can park. But anyway, all right, so I'm done my intro, and let's go around and check out some cars. I want to start to get some footage. So here we have a 76 Cosworth. So it's funny, when I look at this car, the first thing when I first saw this car, I was kind of getting Trans Am vibes, just because you have like that, you have a decal over there. This is Cosworth twin cam, and you have that pinstripe, and that's the first thing I thought was Trans Am. And even kind of the front of this car, this is an interesting look. This is an interesting car. So I even get Datsun vibes just from those lights. Datsun. This is an interesting car. Just look at the front grille here. That's kind of interesting. And then this, you know, you don't really have you have a Chevy sign there, but you have a totally different kind of a Vega, a whole different logo there. So this is a pretty unique car. I don't think I've seen anything like this before. And I really like the brown. I love the beige rather. I like the beige color, and I also like the wheels too. You look at the wheels there. You kind of have like this gold going on here. Let's check out the interior. So again, really nice leather seating here for 76. And wow, yeah, that's pure Trans Am vibes there. Look at that. Look at that the gauge cluster, and then look at the paneling. That's pure Trans Am vibes there. And I just love that stick, that floor mounted stick there. Very beautiful. So I'm gonna walk around this, and it looks like you kind of got like, oh, it looks like almost like a duckbill or something. Again, kind of Trans Am like vibes, and then the back again. I don't know why, I just get like kind of Datsun vibes from these lights. I don't know why, but in any case, you know, what a nice looking car. And you have like, look at the mirrors here, or look at the not mirrors, rather the back window here. So again, you kind of have like something. This kind of why gives me like 50s vibes or something when we have the windows that kind of partially open, but this one's kind of bigger. This is 76. One other thing I want to point out about this car is that only 8 of these cars have been made in this color. So here we have a Mercury Comet, and I really love the color of this car. And it's funny, this car kind of gives me a little bit like, it's almost like a cross between like a Camaro and a Charger. I don't know why I get those kind of vibes from this car. And I kind of wonder if, you know, if these companies were kind of influenced by those cars and kind of took that into account when they designed it. But in any case, I do like the chassis and the shape of the body, and I love the color on this car. I like these wheels too. Those wheels kind of make the car look more aggressive. Let's kind of look at the check out the interior. So that last car we looked at had that Cosworth had sort of a light beige. This we got a black going on here, and this kind of looks a little modern here, doesn't it? Doesn't that look modern with the lights? Yeah, so that's probably obviously not OEM there. Look at that. But they did a nice job there. You got the cup holders there, so you have a little bit of convenience. And then look how wide open this is. So this is kind of, you know, this is kind of like reminds me of, I think, was it at Ocean City? I can't remember which one it was, but in any case, how a lot of these older cars are bigger and emphasize size. Like for example, if you recall, like the Volkswagen events that I went to, that last one that I went to, you know, the interior was much smaller, but this is a lot much bigger. And you see the steering wheel's kind of big too. So again, I think what's emphasized here is just a size, and I kind of wonder if that kind of goes back to just culture of the cars back in the day that it's bigger is better. So yes, so we're looking at this Mercury Comet here. Got the back of the Mercury Comet and the lights, and yeah, lovely car, very lovely car. So check out this 1931 Ford. Isn't she beautiful? I love that color. I love like the real, like kind of almost like not fluorescent, but kind of bright blue on this car. Just beautiful. And I also like the wheels too. So this classifies as a street rod. So no, it's not OEM, but you know, I just love the stance of this car. I like these. I love these doors on the engine, how they open up. Just really stunning. And then of course you got your engine there. Now let's look at the interior. Look at the doorknob there. You know, just really intricate, and just, you know, again, I just like the materials. Look at the inside. I love the design of the seating, of the upholstery. Very stunning. Wow. And this is kind of the dash I was talking about, you know, kind of previous car shows, when you just look at, you know, again, it's all about the materials. Although that gauge cluster does not look OEM to me, because typically I'm used to seeing like kind of the metal around the gauge cluster, so I think that might be something a little different, but it still looks beautiful. I still love like just the shape of that whole dash. It's almost like just sort of I'm not sure what shape that's called, but you know, I just love the shape of that. This you know, this is a very beautiful interior. Well, let's go and give it a walk around here. A nice looking back there. So, you know, with some of these older cars, the roof will be a different color than the you know, than the rest of the body. Like in Ocean City, there were a number of cars I saw that had a different color roof. So this whole entire car is painted like a blue. I kind of wonder how this would look. I kind of wonder how this car would look if the roof was a different color, or if even the hood was a different color. But I do like the blue. I do like the whole car being blue. It does look very, very nice. So check out this Chevelle. Wow, isn't she stunning? Look at this. I love that kind of maroon color on this car with the wheels. I love what they did with the wheels here. This looks very nice too. Let's get a closer look at this one. It's got your interior. And it's funny, I was looking at this car earlier. Look at that wood paneling. I don't think I've ever seen that kind of wood paneling in an American car like this. I'm used to seeing like kind of like, you know, well, the older cars you see like, you know, typically metal, but I don't think I've ever seen like something like wood like that. So I think that's definitely something that I wonder if the owner did something different there. So I'm gonna have to ask the owner about that. But that kind of gives me like British car vibes, because when I was at the British car show in Delaware, a lot of the MGs and a lot of those older British cars had like the wooden paneling. That was more common with the British cars. So this is something different. And yeah, but very lovely, very lovely. Check this out, man. Owner was nice enough to open her up for us. Look under the bonnet. You got a 425 350 there. What a lovely engine that is. Beautiful, simplistic, yet beautiful, lovely. So I pretty much said what I want to say. I'm taking this because I just want to get footage of the car with the hood up, because it just looks beautiful. And I just love this maroon color on this car with those wheels. And I think the car looks even better with that hood up like that. Just stunning. Okay, we got something a little more modern here. Got the GT, Mustang GT here. All right. Very, very nice. Nice. So check out this Camaro. So I'm guessing that's a 68. I'm so off on my years, although I'm getting better at it. But that Camaro is just so stunning, and it's just, you know, I don't necessarily want to disrespect cars of today, because I think they have a purpose. It didn't sound so good, but who cares? I just really admire how the cars were built back then. You know, back in the 60s, 70s. I mean, just to me, this car just looks more aggressive, and maybe I'm getting a little carried away just because of the wheels, because the wheels do make the car look more aggressive. You see like those little larger wheels, and you see them with the tires and everything. So maybe that kind of contributes to why the car just looks so stunning. But you know, I just look at this car. Let's kind of walk around a little bit, and I just like the simplistic lights. You know, I just like just the lights look like the car's looking straight at you. You know, simplistic but aggressive. You know, a lot of lights now, they're a little bit more complicated, more complex. But I think it just, you know, in a way, it can kind of take away from the beauty. Anyway, but yeah, I think this looks really, really stunning. Let's get a closer look. So let's go to the interior. So I know I panned on this earlier, but you know, I just love that. Look at the size of that steering wheel. So it's just almost like, it's just commanding. You sit in that driving seat and you just feel like you're in command with that huge steering wheel. And then look at the gauge coaster in the dash. I just love the recessed. I don't think I've seen this. I've been to a lot of shows already this year, and I don't think I've seen like the recessed gauge cluster like that. That is mean looking. And also notice how like it's angled back, because most of the dashboards I've seen are just straight, you know, just kind of perpendicular to the floor, I guess. And this is not. This is kind of angled back, and I guess it kind of makes it look even bigger. So again, you kind of have the extenuation on size, like the steering wheel's big, the whole interior looks so roomy, and then even the shifter's kind of big too. So again, you're just emphasizing size here. But yeah, what a beautiful interior. But anyway, yeah, just talking through this some more. You got, again, for lack of a better term, I guess sort of this duckbill back here, or a little fin here, and you know, again, it kind of makes it look a little racier. Well, it is a Camaro, so, but anyway, let's walk around here. Look at the lights. You kind of have the similar lights from one of the cars, I think one of the cars before. Actually, it kind of looks like that Mercury Comet. It almost had the same lights as the Mercury Comet, so it kind of makes me wonder, you know, did one influence the other, basically. But yeah, I mean, I guess you have your typical design trends that were kind of common in the 60s and 70s and so forth. But yeah, what a beautiful, stunning car. So kind of as I'm walking along, I kind of want to pan back and just kind of get an overall bird's eye view of all these cars. So now let's talk about this next one. Look at this Vet, this Stingray. This thing is gorgeous. Look at those wheels. So I think those wheels kind of distinguish this car from the other ones. I mean, yeah, the body's obviously different from, like, you know, the Camaro next to me here, but you just look at these wheels though. I think the wheels kind of do, you know, bring out this car. And you kind of have I love the exhaust here. I just love how the exhaust runs along the side of the car and just really adds to the overall flair of the body of this car. I'm just kind of panning out here so you can kind of better appreciate, you know, let's kind of look inside now. So look at this. So again, you have this huge steering wheel. Now the gauge cluster is not recessed like in that Camaro, but again, you have, you know, very, very large gauges there. And again, it's about extenuating the size. You have a big steering wheel. You have particularly big gauges. This one doesn't look as roomy as the Camaro does, but you know, still very, very, very beautiful, simplistic yet beautiful interior. So just talking through, it was kind of weird when I was looking at this. I thought there were like four lights there, but it was actually just two lights on each side reflecting off the kind of off that bumper there. But that's kind of a neat little I guess visual trick there, or whatever you want to call it. But no, this is just a very stunning car. Let's kind of pan out here, get one last look at it. You got the soft top there, so yeah, beautiful. I want to describe this as a beautiful girl. I think that is definitely an appropriate term. This thing is gorgeous. Look at this. I love the color on this car. I love that blue. And again, just very similar to some of the cars I've seen, the older cars I've seen. Look at the beautiful two-tone. I mean, yeah, the upholstery is going to get replaced, but even still, it looks beautiful. Particularly the front seats. Look at the two-tone light blue and dark blue. And again, you have like the really large steering wheel, which we've seen with the other cars. Again, maybe this is kind of more common. 68, right?
67.
Sorry, 67. So this is a 67. So maybe again, same thing. You have the really big steering wheel, and it's kind of roomy in here too. And you kind of have the large gauges, kind of similar to some of the earlier cars we saw. So again, just the emphasis on kind of size and largeness. You got the Mustang. You got the Mustang. What do you call the Mustang carpets there and everything. And check this out. We don't know where we got these, but look at it. You even got the blue like little pillow there and a blanket there. I love this. A couple things, other things I want to point out. Check out these grills over here. There's these panels over here. So these actually were chromed down south somewhere. But yeah, that's one other thing that's kind of like not that's kind of unique about this particular car. And then check this out. You got the pony put on here too as well. So you got the pony on top. There's that, you know, that little pony thing sticking out. So that's something else that's kind of unique about this car. But yeah, this is a stunner. Again, just like the owner said, beautiful girl. Check out this 58 Bel Air. This is beautiful. Look at this. And this again, I think most of the cars that we've seen, yeah, 60s, 70s, somewhere around there. But you can tell this is kind of 50s. Look at the two-tone in the back there. You got like that white stripe over there in the back. I wouldn't say stripe, but sort of this white, sort of, I don't know what you want to call it. Kind of a white, I can't think of it. But anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. So basically, you kind of have like that, you know, a little bit of a two-tone in the chassis of the car in the back there. But what I really want to show you is this. Check out this. Look at what we did in the back. Look what we did with the upholstery here. Look at this. This is obviously not original. Look at this. This has got to be so freaking. I bet this is probably the most comfortable car you can ever sit in. I mean, just look at how soft those seats look. And look at the beautiful two-tone on this. This is absolutely stunning. So you got the gauge cluster, and again, look at the size of the steering wheel. I could swear that the further back you go, the further back in history you go, the bigger the steering wheels get. I'm wondering, but look at the size of that steering wheel. So yeah, it looks like something was done with. Obviously, that gauge cluster is not OEM, but yeah, that definitely is. The lower part is. So if you look over there, that definitely is. Look at the intricacy and the attention to detail of the dash, the lower part basically, where it says Bel Air on it, and then you have the kind of little squares and everything. So if this just kind of goes to show how much really went in to design these cars, you know, back in the day, and just how much more like attention to detail there was with these cars. But yeah, let's pan back out. Look at that. I love that upholstery there. I just love what the owner did with that. That is beautiful. That's kind of cool. Yep. Those wheels, lovely. So you know what? I'm really glad to have gone to this event. I was thinking about skipping it and just going back home because I was so freaking tired, and just, you know, I gotta pull out this ugly ass plant that I have in my garden and put like some beautiful mums out there. I'm kind of getting off topic here, but there's so many cool people to talk to here. Everyone here is so nice, so laid back, and really take pride in their cars. And but anyway, yeah, look at all these beautiful cars here. Let's kind of pan back here. So we've gone through all these cars over here right now, and now we kind of got these cars to go through, and then you got some more cars over there. So it looks like a lot more people showed up to this. So I may not be able to get everything in detail, but anyway, let's keep moving. So look at this Chevelle. Let's do a little walk around of this. But actually, I'm going to talk about it first. I mean, I like the dark blue. It's kind of funny because with these cars, you can argue that any color is good on them. So maybe it's just me seeing these cars and how shiny they are. But anyway, in any case, regardless, I do like the dark blue on this. And the wheels just do make the car look more aggressive and like a little bit higher up as well. Anyway, let's go check out the interior of this. So yeah, this is a beautiful interior. It just does not look original to me. But in any case, it's a beautiful interior, and the seats look very, very comfortable. And then again, you know, large steering wheel, and again, you kind of have the wood here. So yeah, I this actually does look original, but I don't think it is, because I just don't recall any of these cars being, you know, coming with that wood paneling. I'm gonna have to ask the owner about that. So no, this is obviously not OEM. I shouldn't say obviously, because funny thing is, I actually thought it was. That panel, that wood panel fits in there so well. I thought that was OEM. He got this from a Monte Carlo. So the owner, when he got this car, the dash was all beat up, and so he had this wooden panel he took from Monte Carlo and put it right in here. So maybe it fit. Maybe it all. I'll have to check out a Monte Carlo. I kind of wonder if it's just kind of the same. I don't know. Maybe these Chevy Monte Carlo, Chevy Chevelle. So yeah, I guess maybe it. I guess they're swappable. I guess the Chevy uses. I guess he had a certain standard, and I guess that wooden panel would just fit there. So maybe it's not a surprise. Let's take a look at this. Wow, beautiful. When he walking through here, look at this. I'm gonna pan in this thing. Ooh, now that looks like original interior. Oh, very, very beautiful. Oh my, wow. Oh, I'm blown away by this. See, for me, it's the color of the dash. The dash looks so bright, and the wheel looks so big. Now this looks big. Let me look at what I want to point out here is look at the size, just from here down to there. Just look at the size of that overall dash. So again, this is kind of accentuating the largeness. And even with that, and also notice how the dash kind of is recessed a little bit. Well, that whole speedometer, look at that. And this is not even a gauge coach. This is one giant rectangular gauge. So that's kind of an interesting design. And then again, the dash is not flat. It kind of recesses back, which again, I guess maybe it gives more room, so it makes it feel larger. And then you have the Fairlane. You got the Fairlane mats there, but yeah, what a beauty, what a beauty. So these are the original seats, and I kind of figured they were, but I wanted to be sure because there's some customization and everything. But yeah, look at the dash again, very beautiful. Look at that! Wow, that is gorgeous. And I think this might be the first car. This is the first car here that I see where you have the kind of a different color on the roof and the hood. Actually, this is the first time I've seen a car like this before. So check this out. We got this beautiful 39 Plymouth here. So what I was talking about earlier was that this is actually the first time that I've seen the hood and the roof coordinated together. The hood and the roof coordinated together with one color, and then the bottom of the car, and I guess the bottom part of the chassis a different color. I've never seen that before. As far as this event goes, this is the first car I've seen that has like kind of a two-tone. I mean, there was that one car earlier that I saw which just had kind of the rear fin part that was a different color, but this is the first car that I see is the actual two-tone, where you have like the bottom part of the chassis is one color, and then you have the roof and the hood a different color. But wow, boy, that makes one heck of a difference when you have that two-tone there. And then you have the white and you have those lights there. And again, the lights are just simplistic, just simple round lights looking right at you. Absolutely beautiful. All right, let's kind of get a close-up here. So I love these seats. I love the 39 on there. And you kind of, yeah, these are leather seats, two-tone. So yeah, obviously not OEM. But boy, what a nice job on the interior. Wow. Look at that steering wheel, so beautiful, that wood-like steering wheel, and just look at that gorgeous dash. Wow. So yeah, it's hard to tell though, and again, hopefully when I go to more of these shows, I'm gonna become more knowledgeable and be able to tell instantly, what's OEM, what's not. But that dash looks absolutely beautiful. I just love that gate cluster. That looks so retro there, that gauge cluster. Look at that. Very different from the previous car we saw, which had just that one giant rectangle of a gauge there. Now you have just a bunch of gauges put together with that design there. So that's really, really cool. Check out this Pontiac. So when you look at all these other cars here, they're done up. All of these cars are done up really nicely. This one is not, and I love it. I just love it. This is a straight up Pontiac. No paint job, no nothing to it. This is old school Pontiac, and you got the old school wheels there. I kind of love. Look, check out this hood here. Check out the. Okay, maybe that's just some random. I thought that was actually part of the hood. Maybe it's not, but in any case, I'm getting carried away. But yeah, let's talk through this a little bit. You got the lights there. Again, just round lights that kind of are very simple. Actually, what I really want to talk about most though is when you kind of go in the interior, and this is kind of what I like, because this looks like a straight OEM. Like nothing has been done to this car. The car's been untouched, so you're getting a true blue, straight up old school retro back in the day feel of this car. Like every single thing here is original. This is what I really appreciate. So look at that old school dash there again. So you have some kind of little bit of a design intent there. You see kind of like the shape of the dash there. And look at the old school. Check out I gotta pan up on this. Let me pan down. All right, I'm trying to pan in a little bit. I'm having a little trouble with this. All right, so that's kind of what I wanted to pan in on. Look at that old school font there, the battery, fuel. Isn't that cool? Look at the old font there on that dash. That is so cool. And the oil is just straight up old. I mean, I'm going to say this is actually one of my... It's hard to pick a favorite here. That's an interesting piece of jewelry there hung up on there. Look at that old school radio too. Look at that. Am I panning on the right? Yeah, look at that. Just the straight up buttons and everything. In the old doors, yeah, I want to say what I really appreciate most about this car is that everything is, there's no question, everything is original. Nothing was touched, nothing was done to it at all. Yeah, it's obviously not as flashy as some of the other cars are, but I can appreciate this more just because you can just appreciate just, you know, everything's original, and you can appreciate the age and just how old everything is. Beautiful. I want to pan on that Pontiac emblem. That's really cool looking. But yeah, let's kind of take a look at this. So, all right, the back and everything. Okay, all right. Look at those lights too. Look at these. These lights are kind of cool. So look, check out this. This is kind of cool. Look at that. Because most of the time you have the lights that are kind of almost part of the chassis, or you know, just sticking out. You know, I've never seen anything like this where the lights actually sticking out, almost like the whole thing's a separate part itself. You know, kind of extending out beyond the chassis of the vehicle. So cool. So we have something obviously much more modern, and I think just for comparison's sake, let's kind of take a look. So obviously engine layout is much different. It looks a lot more, you know, complex than, you know, some of the older cars. Yeah, this is a difference. So you have, notice here you have the front grille on this. Now to me, you know, the lights are kind of hidden on this, but I guess maybe like when the lights are on, then you kind of see it, which is kind of interesting. So obviously like during the daytime, lights aren't on, you just have this front grille basically. So the grille is actually what's really the most extenuating part of the front, not the lights. So it's an interesting little thing I wanted to point out. But even though this car is modern, it still has a very beefy look. The chassis looks very, very beefy, and it's almost like it's still kind of reflecting the size and large of it. This car looks big, it looks large, looks powerful. It doesn't look sleek. It doesn't look sleek like an exotic car, but that's, again, not the intent of the car. The intent is for it to look imposing, big, strong, and powerful. Let's kind of look at the interior here. So, yeah, you kind of see similar design features of the older cars. You kind of have the recessed, gauge cluster there, so it's kind of, you know, calling back to some of the older days. And you kind of have the the stick out there too. So yeah, interesting. You know, a little more modern, but definitely interesting. Speaking of big, look at this Lincoln Continental. My God, this thing is beautiful. Look at the front here. Look at this. Yeah, so very different from the other cars. Again, you don't have the square lights here. You kind of have like these, almost like these kind of slender rectangular lights, you know, over here, and then you have this grille here with the, you know, with the I guess the Mark III sign on their Lincoln. But just look at how imposing that whole front looks. The front is so big and so long, and then I think just the very, very front of the car kind of accentuates the whole entire front. The lights and then the grille, and how the lights kind of penetrate outward beyond the front of the car. Let's kind of get a body shot here. Look at that, wow. And again, those wheels kind of remind me of the Corvette wheels a little bit. You have like the skinny spokes and everything, and you know, I think that also kind of accentuates the car. I love that dark maroon color. And yeah, this car just looks really big. Look at the front. So the front looks really big, and also the back looks really big too. This is awesome. So the owners let me sit in this beautiful car. Look at this. I just love the size of the back. Anyway, let's keep moving. So, oh, look at the door. I love the door handle. I mean, it just feels good. It just feels so good sitting in an older car. Just being able to just operate an older car. So I'm sitting in the car now. I got my Kenny. He's gonna get crushed. Who cares? All right. There's a door. Shut the door. Look at this. Wow. All right. I got the Kenny. I don't want my Kenny to get crushed. But anyway, all right. But yeah, look at this. Look at this gauge cluster. I've not seen anything like this before. A square gauge cluster like this. You know, that's what I love about the older car. The designs are just so cool. The designs of the dashes are so cool. It's not like every single car has the same dash. Every single car has a unique dash. Look at that. So this is the first time I've seen like square recessed gauges. That is so cool. And you have like the the gear gear changer on the top of the steering wheels. This is a little bit different too. And pardon me, I gotta just work on my presentation a little bit, but who cares? Anyway, yes, you have like the vents just kind of below that. But yeah, And again, you're kind of again accentuating largeness. Look at the, just from here, from the top, I guess the very top of this whole dash part down to the bottom here, it's just very, very big. It's like one big long dash, and you have really kind of a big steering wheel too. So again, this is just, and maybe it's the rack and pinion steering basically, I don't know, but in any case, I love the color too. Very, very beautiful. And look at the seatbelts. Look at the design on the seatbelts too. So again, just a lot goes in, I think, to these cars. I just love the seatbelt here. I just love the design. Just I guess the Lincoln design there, or the emblem, that's really, really beautiful. And you have sort of the almost have like the little stones around there too. Very, very intricate and very, very beautiful. And sorry, one last thing I want to point out. So you kind of have this wood paneling over here, and it says Continental Mark III on there. So, you know, just, yeah, very, very lovely. Sorry, I'm not done yet. Just look at the paneling here too. So again, you just look at, again, the attention to detail on the doors. So this is just not made just for convenience and for practicality. I think this is almost like made to brag. Like, you know, you just have like this intricate details. You have the leather here, and you have like this handle over here. This is not a good comparison. I shouldn't even mention Pagani, but in any case, you know, I know what Pagani's cars, they have like a little kind of a little like a leather handle on it or something like that, and maybe it's not a good comparison, but who cares? You know, it's car talk. But so you kind of have this here on the car. That's kind of cool too. So, and you have like the old school like locks and everything. The first thing I think of is that movie Bronx Tale. Anyway, I kind of wanted to point out some of the attention to detail. And it's funny, just when I think I'm done talking about the car, there's always something else. So I just can't believe this will be, I gotta see something here. I do have to try something here. Because for some reason they actually look like automatic controls. So I'm gonna have to ask the owner about this. It does not look like it's something that was added on. This looks kind of OEM to me. But that's just kind of cool. This is a stunning car. So these lights, so a lot of this car has vacuum controls to it. So these lights, so after you turn the car off, basically these light covers are being held in place by vacuum. But as the vacuum gets lost, these begin to release, and that's part of the design intent. So basically, when it gets released, you have the lights going on. So basically, that was actually how the car was designed. So very clever design there. So right on top of the car, right on top of the hood, right there, what I'm panning on, that's a light dimmer. And that's basically going to affect the brightness of the lights depending on, depending on the traffic and the oncoming traffic and the cars coming towards you for visibility. So that's kind of a unique design feature as well. So we just went through this whole row of cars. I just love that Lincoln. I kind of got carried away sitting in that Lincoln, but it's starting to get a little dark now. So we just have there's this car over here I want to kind of go over real quick. We're just kind of maybe just do a kind of pan around of this car, and then we got a bunch of cars, those over there, and we got like some cars over there. So I'm kind of gonna go through this a little quicker just so I can get through it before it gets dark. So let's keep moving. I'm kind of going up against the fall sunset here, so it looks like it's gonna get dark soon, but just want to talk about this car. I just love this kind of dark, really kind of black, dark green matte color on this truck. I noticed this truck right away when when it pulled in. It just caught my attention, and I just think this truck looks so much meaner with the matte color on it and those wheels. It just looks very, very aggressive and very appealing. What's frustrating is I really do want to spend more time with all these cars. I mean, just again, like I mentioned, in previous videos, the more you really attend these shows, the more you appreciate cars that you probably wouldn't have appreciated before. Now, this beautiful, absolutely stunning Vet, I probably wouldn't have appreciated because I was so into exotics. But now I look at this thing and I'm like, my God, this thing is gorgeous. And again, I just wish I could spend more time with these, talking about these vehicles, and I just can't because I don't really have the time. again, I just want to get these cars before it gets dark, so just keep moving along. Wow, what a beautiful truck that is. Look at that. Oh, look at those lights. Yeah, I just love the simplistic, kind of flat front, and just the lights that either they're circle or they're square. They're just nothing too crazy about them. Because that to me just makes it more appealing. Oh my gosh. I don't even have any description for how beautiful this car is. Look at this. Wow. Let's walk around this one there. Oh my, look at those lights. Wow. Just goes to show it was all about the design. These designers are bragging. They're basically bragging. They're showing their pride by designing a car like that. Look at that. Look at just. Oh, I gotta sit there. I gotta talk about this. Look at the design of the back. Look at the curvature and everything. This is stunning. Look at this. Let's walk around this for a little bit. Is this the El Camino that the one gentleman was talking about earlier? I don't know. But look at the size. Look at the size of the back. Look how elongated the rear of this car is. You see that? And you just look at the paneling and look at the sleek look of the paneling in the back. Just this, and how the back wheel is hidden. Just real El Camino style. This thing's a monster, absolute monster. Let's walk around her. And again, the front of this car, it's low. The front's kind of low, so it looks a little bit more kind of aggressive as well. Yeah, this thing is absolutely stunning. Wow, what a beautiful car. So I never anticipated myself going to an event on a weekday. It's a typical weekday. I come home from work, I'm really grouchy, tired when I get home, maybe go to the gym if I have enough energy, but I'm just so glad that I went to this event. I'm not done yet. We still have to go through those cars over there, but I think what I really like about this event is, one thing I do like how it's smaller, so I have more time to kind of go over the cars in more detail. And as I've gone to more of these events, I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable talking about the cars because I'm slowly getting a knowledge of them, even if I'm messing up the years or even messing up the models, which I've done before. But I'm starting to get more comfortable with this, and it's becoming, anyway, I wouldn't say second nature, but what was I going to talk about? But yeah, no, one other thing I want to point out too, that people are very, very nice, and they're really anxious to talk about their cars, and it's great to be able to, take this footage and post it on YouTube and just kind of spread, just kind of post, these people's pride and joy on my channel, and so they can see these cars. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's keep going. This is a little bit off topic, but just some of the moves they're playing earlier and even now, I don't know why, it kind of reminds me of Joe Pesci just smacking someone over the head with a bottle or something like that. I just kind of get a good feel of vibes from the music. But anyway, I don't know why I thought of that. I guess I'm a 90s movie freak. But anyway, let's keep moving.
Am I knocking on this melon to check its freshness or because I want to play the bongos? A little of both. This Belgian Groceries cereal box fortress? You have no idea.
Download the Instacart app and we'll overthink shopping for you.
My name is Norma. I'm a two-time because I don't trust him. I feel he's a liar. I feel he's for himself. I feel like he's going to take our country down a really evil, dark path. I want to be on the right side.
So check this out. The Kit car, Kit, from Knight Rider, David Hasselhoff. Look at that. Isn't that cool to see? I saw this car earlier and right away I recognized it. I'm like, that's gotta be the Kit car. Gotta be Kit from Knight Rider. But so good to see. Awesome. One thing I also want to point out, I guess I kind of caught the that part of that I'm guessing is a Kamala Harris commercial. But anyway, yeah, this is really not about politics. This is all about love of cars and everything. So just want to stress that. Oh my God, look at that. I gotta talk about that. My God, look at that Chevy Impala. My Lord. Oh, I think it's so beautiful. Look at this thing. Oh, I don't even have any words to describe this car. But again, you know, just look at the size of the car and look at how long the back is. You know, again, this is, I'm kind of seeing these common design elements in these older cars about size. I keep mentioning it over and over again, but it's just a point that, you know, I guess I got to keep bringing up. Yeah, I love that vet. Wow. I mean, again, maybe a year ago I wouldn't have really paid much attention to that car, but I just think that car is beautiful. Look at that. Wow. But yeah, I guess I just don't see. It's funny because I don't see a lot of standardization in these older cars. Like, for example, look at the lights. You have these 3 lights in the back, 3 on each side, basically. And then the other car earlier before that we were looking at, you know, had those really funky looking lights in that weird looking back. You know, where it was, you know, it was a lot more, you know, not so square. So this back is, you know, less extravagant than one of the other car I was looking at. But you look at these lights though. But one common thing they have is that the back is very long. But again, you just have a completely different design here. Apollo. Wow, look at that interior, man. And these seats actually look bigger. Look at that. Look at the size of these. These seats actually look pretty just look really big. It's just very, very different. It almost looks like a couch. That seat looks like a couch. So again, it just like the dice back there. Again, it's, you know, just a couple things I want to mention. You know, again, I mentioned this over and over again about the size of the car, about the size of things. Big steering wheel, very, very, very big dashboard. Yeah, very big dash. And even large seats. Even the seat looks like a couch. So again, it's almost like the designers are just making a statement here. And look at the paneling on the door. Again, I hate to say I don't know if that's OEM or not, but boy, just look at the intricacy of the design. I think it might be actually. So again, if that is OEM, it just goes to show there's really doesn't seem to be a lot of standardization with these cars. It seems like a lot of these cars, there's just so much variation with, you know, with some of the design work here. So you gotta have a more modern Mustang here. I was hoping the window would be open, but that's okay. God, look at that hood. That thing is a monster. Wow, look at that vet. And look at those wheels, those chrome wheels. Look at those calipers. Look at the yellow brake calipers. Man, they go good with that maroon. Man, love that. Oh my goodness. Let's take a look at this. So this is totally different from the other cars, obviously. I'm gonna guess this is somewhere like late 90s, early 2000s maybe? Yeah, so these lights give off late 90s, early 2000s vibes. And this is obviously, God, look at them. I can't get over those wheels. Look at those. God, those beautiful calipers. Man, I love those yellow calipers. But anyway, I digress. So again, this design is much different. So look at these. Look at the seats here. So these seats obviously are sportier, much sportier seats. And again, this shows how the design element really changed. You know, you kind of have like you have some kind of sort of you know, again, the design of the back part of the car, well, rather the back part of where the interior is. But yeah, look at the dash here. I guess this actually is more, you know, a little bit more complex, a little bit more intricate. Again, it's not like really big, and you know, this kind of it's very, very different from the older cars though. But still nice, still a very nice, fresh interior. Oh, it's a stunner. Look at that! Wow. Let's walk around this baby.
Yeah, well, that's what I was. So you got the old car. I was on the marketplace last night looking at 59. I like that.
All right, so I do need to talk to this. This is kind of what I was alluding to before, with the intricate details of the dash and of the gauge clusters. This is kind of what I was talking about previously, where you kind of have the really lovely materials, you know, the glass, and kind of have the metal around, you know, on the outside, the beautiful kind of gold colored metal around the outside of each of the gauges. And I think that looks so good against that steel black backdrop. Very, very beautiful. See, the car's always been you know, altered a little bit. You got like that kind of more of a sporty steering wheel, and then I'm guessing this upholstery obviously is not, you know, OEM, but you know, very, very lovely done. Beautiful street rod here. So these seats are obviously a lot more probably a lot more comfy. And then, you know, you have the really sporty looking steering wheel, but you've kept that beautiful, gorgeous dash back there. And you know, I just love these old style wheels. I just love like this simplicity of these wheels. It's really, really beautiful. Let's pan back out. Yeah, what a lovely car. Nice green calipers to go with the black. Very, very nice. Yeah, this is a very beefy looking car. Look at it. Yeah, I mean, I know I've kind of talked, maybe I've talked down a little bit about the modern cars, but you know, I gotta take back what I said. I mean, this, for example, this Camaro, I just love I love the modern look of this car, because you know what it does? It's almost like it still kind of calls out to the past and makes the car looks very imposing. It does look big and imposing, but it looks a little slicker. So it does have like the modern looks, but it still like maintains that kind of that culture of size and largeness and being very imposing. And look at this front. This front looks very, very imposing. So you don't really have those same lights that you have on the older cars where you just have the straight lights, but you have a lot more intricacy on the front. Like, look at that front grille, and you know, it looks angry. The car looks pissed off, which is good. I guess he wanted to look pissed off. But anyway, yeah. So it's just a different design than the older cars, but it still looks absolutely beautiful. So it's kind of weird. I just want to talk about just the body a little bit. So again, you know, the tricky thing is I guess the designers are trying to make the car look, you know, imposing, but also kind of slimmed down a little bit. It just kind of looks like you just kind of have, notice how like the paneling kind of goes, how the chassis kind of goes inward a little bit. So maybe that's for, I don't know if that's maybe for aerodynamics as well. And you kind of have like these three, look at those three kind of, you know, inserts there, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, just it's almost like just like the side of this car, it looks a little bit slimmed down, but it still looks big. So it's kind of a unique design here. So let's kind of look at the inside of it. So again, you know, a lot more, you know, I'm gonna say look at the leather. So kind of, I was gonna say luxurious, and I guess maybe it is, but sporty too. So again, this just looks much more modern. So, you know, it does look big, maybe big in a different way, big in a different modern way. But yeah, actually that whole dash is freaking huge. And you kind of have the square recessed dash over there. So you see similar design elements, but you know, it's much more modern. It looks like you have some different materials there. But yeah, very nice. Okay, look at this Corvette. It's like the Corvette version of Knight Rider. It's got the same, very similar shape to that kit car. But it's Corvette, of course, and with the black too. And look at those wheels. I just love the black on black. It's just absolutely stunning here. And what I really, really like, oh, look at this. This is different. Look at the stitching on here. Shouldn't be touching, but look at that. These seats are lovely. Look at that. But I kind of want to look at this kind of this 90s, I'm going to guess kind of early to mid 90s kind of dash going here. This is so retro. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, so this thing is totally different from all the other cars, because most of these cars are just your, you know, just your typical run-of-the-mill old school American classic cars. This is also American too. We got the Chevy there, but yeah, this is kind of looks more like a, you know, kind of a smaller, like a, you know, compact car basically. But this is really sporty looking. Look at that. Look at the wheels. Wheels are very, very sporty. We'll do a quick pan on the inside of this, and that's it. Take care, man. Yep. Wow, beautiful, man. Love that blue Mustang. It's gorgeous. All right, so I'm gonna do my wrap up real quick. So I want to get some of these cars pulling up, but boy, what an awesome event! So many cool people. I'm just so glad I came out to this. But actually, you know what? Before I do my wrap, I'm gonna go and get some of these cars as they're leaving. Take care, man. So actually, you know what? Before I wrap, I just kind of want to talk about this event in comparison with the other events. So, one thing I really noticed about this event was very, very laid back. I want to say it was an older crowd, kind of older people here, and I just got the impression, they have they have so much pride and passion in the cars, but it was much more chill and much more laid back. The last event I went to, there was a vibe, but it was just a lot more. It was more of an younger, energetic vibe. So you kind of had some of the, the reggaeton and what's the reggaeton? I can't remember. They had some much more like upbeat music. And the cars were it was a totally different event. It was more about customization. The cars were heavily customized. There was more glam, glitter, brightness. Again, that last event that I went to, the end of summer event that was sponsored by Audio Jam, it was a different kind of skill set. The cars were a lot more modified, a lot more customized, and yeah, so it was, again, the whole event was just really, really different. So, I was talking to one of the owners, and he said a lot of the car shows are very similar. I guess that's probably in the classic car realm. Maybe they're very similar. But I've noticed just from when you cross over genres of cars, like, for example, this was more of a classic car event. The last event, was more, customized cars. Again, just that whole atmosphere was completely different. You could probably tell from the footage, but that's just something I wanted to point out. It's just kind of cool to see just how the vibe differs from based on the genre of the cars and just the events and everything. It's just kind of cool. So I just kind of wanted to point that out. But anyway, I'm getting hungry, so time to get some Pat's Pizza. So I'll do my wrap up now. But boy, what an awesome event. I mean, there were so many cool people, and it was great to talk to them and learn about their cars. And I think what I really liked about this event, what I was talking about earlier, was that this actually was a smaller event, so it felt a little bit more laid back. And not sure what else to say. I'm kind of rambling, but anyway, yeah, no, it felt a lot more laid back. I didn't feel quite as rushed, and it looks like I'm gonna be able to go and enjoy a nice pizza. So let's see if I can pan in. So there's that's Pat's Pizza back there over there. I want to talk about that a little bit more too. So we'll get a slice of pizza there as well. How about some local business? And yeah, this was a really cool event, and it looks like I got some really good footage. I didn't have a lot of faith earlier. I'm like, there weren't so many cars here, but more cars came, and the cars that were here were really, really amazing. So no, it was great to come out here. And anyway, hey, I hope you all like the footage, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and hey, we'll see you next time. So check it out, we're in front of Pat's Pizza right now, so I'm gonna go inside and grab a bite here. So what do you call it? So I believe this event that I went to was sponsored by Pat's Pizza. Because I heard the owner here loves cars, so he kind of has his event. And again, I'm just so glad that I went to this event, and what a great way to finish off too. So I'm gonna go have some pizza here or something or whatever they have here, and check out what they have. So I'm getting hungry now, so let's get something to eat. So one thing that I noticed was when I pulled the pizza out, I didn't have the problem with the cheese going all over the place. The cheese kind of stayed on the pizza, but doesn't that look delicious? Nice and greasy and unhealthy, but that's the whole point. You want something that tastes good and that's just going to make you feel good. And that's what I need after a nice long day and a nice long event. So I just kind of want to say that this pizza is absolutely delicious, especially the meat lovers. I just love the little bacon bits there, nice and crispy, and the pizza is just so tasty. I'm supposed to be on a diet, but I figure, hey, you know what? I came to this car event, and I also want to go and check out Pat's Pizza, and I'm so glad that I did, because this pizza is absolutely hits the spot. So check out this to-go box that I got. Isn't this kind of cool looking? I mean, normally you have like this kind of dull and boring white to-go box, but this one has the Pat's Pizza on it, 50 years in business. We've got some pictures on there. So this is a sharp looking to-go box here. So all right, let's move on. All right, so just got done having my medium pizza at Pat's Pizza here. So one half was just pepperoni and cheese. The other half was meat lovers. The pepperoni and cheese was really good. I tend to prefer like really thin crust with less cheese on it. Actually, it's just a preference thing with me. But the meat lovers, I think, was close to the best I've ever had in my life. That meat lovers was so darn good. So I gotta give Pat's a thumbs up, man. Excellent. I mean, if only negatives I could think of were that I kind of burnt the roof of my mouth trying to eat my first slice because I was just so hungry. I didn't want to wait. That's something I've done before. And the second thing, of course, is you know, I'm putting on some more of these pounds here. I don't want to pan down, I'm a little embarrassed, but you know, so you know, I think one thing with this whole YouTube thing is that there is an opportunity cost associated with it. So you know, I could have gone to the gym, I could have worked out, but I didn't. I came to this event and I had some pizza. I don't regret it at all. Because again, kind of as a YouTuber and going out and getting videos, you are going to make sacrifices, and you do have to sacrifice certain things. Now, you know, I do want to keep myself in good health and in good shape. So, you know, I haven't done too badly. I've still been exercising and working out while also making YouTube videos and going to these events. But anyway, let me go back to what I was talking about. So yeah, Past Pizza is absolutely delicious, and I'm also very glad that they sponsored this event. It was an awesome event. So yeah, I would say if any of you guys are in the Pennsville area, you definitely got to come to Past Pizza because the pizza is absolutely delicious and the service was very good as well. And if you ever come across that event, I think it was Salem County Nights Car Cruiser, I believe that's what it's called, Car Cruise. But in any case, it was a great event. So anyway, again, hey, if you like the content, like and subscribe, and we'll see you all next time.